Social Security is one of the most important sources of retirement income for millions of Americans. Yet, among all of its retirement provisions, spousal benefits remain one of the most misunderstood. Many people have heard the term spousal benefit, but they're often left with questions. Is it only for someone who never worked? Does claiming a spousal benefit reduce a husband's or wife's retirement check? Can both spouses receive benefits? And what happens if you're divorced? The good news is that the rules are much easier to understand than many people think. In simple terms, a Social Security spousal benefit allows an eligible husband or wife to receive retirement benefits based on their spouse's earnings record. It was created to recognize that many families spend their working years differently. One spouse may have worked full-time for decades, while the other earned less, worked part-time, or stepped away from the workforce to raise children or care for family members. One important point often surprises people. A spousal benefit does not reduce the retirement benefit your spouse has earned. If you qualify, your benefit is determined under Social Security's rules. It isn't taken out of your spouse's monthly payment. It's also important to distinguish a spousal benefit from a survivor benefit. A spousal benefit applies while both spouses are living. Survivor benefits follow a different set of rules after the death of a spouse, and we'll cover those in a separate briefing. In this episode, we'll explain who qualifies for spousal benefits, how Social Security determines the benefit you may receive, when it makes sense to claim, and some of the most common misunderstandings that can lead to costly mistakes. By the end of this briefing, you'll have a clear understanding of how Social Security spousal benefits work and whether they may play an important role in your own retirement strategy. Let's begin by looking at who qualifies for these benefits. Now that we've explained what a Social Security spousal benefit is, let's look at who may qualify. The first thing to understand is that eligibility isn't based on just one requirement. Social Security looks at several factors, including your age, your marital status, and in some cases, how long you've been married. Under today's Social Security rules, three broad groups of people may qualify for spousal benefits: currently married spouses, divorced spouses who meet the eligibility requirements, and spouses in legally recognized same-sex marriages. Let's begin with the age requirement. In most cases, you can begin claiming a Social Security spousal benefit as early as age 62. However, claiming before your full retirement age means you'll receive a permanently reduced monthly benefit. Your full retirement age depends on the year you were born and, for people retiring today, generally falls between ages 66 and 67. Waiting until your full retirement age allows you to receive the maximum spousal benefit available under the rules. Now let's look at each of the three groups. If you're currently married, you may qualify for a spousal benefit based on your husband or wife's earnings record. In general, the marriage must have lasted at least 1 year before a spousal benefit can be paid, and your spouse must be entitled to Social Security retirement benefits. If you're divorced, you may still qualify for a spousal benefit based on your former spouse's earnings record. In general, the marriage must have lasted at least 10 years, and you must currently be unmarried. If you meet the eligibility requirements, claiming a divorced spousal benefit does not reduce your former spouse's benefit, and your former spouse does not need to approve your claim or even be notified that you've applied. If you're in a legally recognized same-sex marriage, the same eligibility requirements and benefit calculations apply under current federal law. There is no separate application process or different set of rules. As you can see, the eligibility requirements become much easier to understand when they're broken down into simple steps. Now that you know who may qualify, the next step is understanding how Social Security determines a spousal benefit. We'll explain the key factors that affect the benefit and the rules used to calculate it in the next section. Now that we've discussed who may qualify, let's look at how Social Security determines a spousal benefit. This is often the part that causes the most confusion, but once you understand a few basic principles, the process becomes much easier to follow. One of the first terms you'll come across is primary insurance amount, often shortened to PIA. Don't let the name intimidate you. In simple terms, your primary insurance amount is the monthly retirement benefit you're entitled to if you begin receiving Social Security at your full retirement age. Think of it as a benchmark that Social Security uses when calculating many retirement benefits, including spousal benefits. You may wonder why Social Security doesn't simply use the amount your spouse is actually receiving each month. The reason is that monthly retirement benefits can vary depending on when someone chooses to begin claiming. A person who claims early generally receives a reduced monthly benefit, while someone who delays retirement beyond full retirement age may receive a larger monthly benefit through delayed retirement credits. To create a consistent starting point, Social Security generally uses the primary insurance amount, not necessarily the monthly amount currently being paid. Now, let's talk about one of the most common statements you'll hear. Many people say a spouse can receive up to 50% of the other spouse's Social Security benefit. The words "up to" are extremely important because they don't mean everyone automatically receives half of their spouse's retirement benefit. Here's a simple example. Suppose one spouse has a primary insurance amount of $2,400 per month. Under today's rules, the maximum spousal benefit is generally based on one half of that amount, or $1,200 per month. Think of that $1,200 as a ceiling rather than a guaranteed payment. Whether you actually receive the full amount depends on several factors, including when you begin claiming and whether you also qualify for retirement benefits based on your own work record. Let's look at claiming age first. If you begin receiving a spousal benefit before reaching your full retirement age, your monthly benefit is permanently reduced. Waiting until your full retirement age allows you to receive the maximum spousal benefit available under the rules. Now let's look at your own work history. Suppose your own earnings record qualifies you for a retirement benefit of $900 per month, while your maximum spousal benefit is $1,200. Social Security doesn't simply pay you both amounts. Instead, it generally pays the retirement benefit you've earned on your own work record first. If you're eligible for additional spousal benefits, Social Security adds a spousal benefit to bring your total monthly payment up to the amount you're entitled to under the rules. Finally, here's one point that surprises many retirees. If you delay claiming your own retirement benefit beyond your full retirement age, delayed retirement credits can increase the retirement benefit you've earned on your own work record. However, those delayed retirement credits generally do not increase the maximum spousal benefit based on your spouse's earnings record. For example, imagine your spouse decides to delay retirement until age 70. Their own monthly retirement benefit may increase because of delayed retirement credits, but the maximum spousal benefit is still generally based on your spouse's primary insurance amount at full retirement age, not on the larger monthly benefit created by delaying retirement. Understanding these basic principles makes it much easier to see how Social Security determines a spousal benefit. Your actual benefit depends on your individual circumstances and your earnings history, and the Social Security Administration makes the final determination. But once you understand these rules, you'll have a much clearer picture of how the calculation works. Next, we'll look at when and how to claim a spousal benefit, along with several common mistakes that retirees can avoid. question is when and how to claim it. While you can generally begin claiming a spousal benefit as early as age 62, deciding when to file deserves careful thought. Claiming before your full retirement age generally results in a permanently reduced spousal benefit. Waiting until your full retirement age allows you to receive the maximum spousal benefit available under the current rules. That doesn't mean everyone should wait. The right claiming decision depends on your personal circumstances. Your retirement income needs, your health, your spouse's claiming strategy, and your overall financial situation all play an important role. What works well for one couple may not be the best choice for another. When you're ready to apply, Social Security offers several ways to file a claim. Many retirees choose to apply online through their My Social Security account. You may also apply by telephone or schedule an appointment with your local Social Security office if you prefer speaking with a representative. Before filing your application, it's a good idea to review your Social Security earnings record. Confirm that your employment history has been recorded accurately and that your personal information is current. Identifying and correcting any errors beforehand can help prevent unnecessary delays. Let's finish with a few common misunderstandings. First, don't assume you'll automatically receive the maximum spousal benefit simply because you qualify. As we've discussed, your claiming age and your own retirement benefit may affect the amount you're entitled to receive. Second, claiming a spousal benefit generally does not reduce your spouse's retirement benefit. Your benefit is determined under Social Security's rules and is not deducted from your spouse's monthly payment. Third, don't assume that understanding the general rules tells you exactly what your own benefit will be. Every retirement situation is different. Your earnings history, your spouse's work record, your age when you claim, and other factors all influence your individual benefit. The Social Security Administration is responsible for determining eligibility and calculating your benefit under current law. We've now covered what a spousal benefit is, who may qualify, how Social Security generally determines the benefit, and what to consider before filing a claim. In our final chapter, we'll answer several practical questions that retirees frequently ask and leave you with a few key takeaways to help you better understand your options. Before we conclude this briefing, let's answer a few practical questions that often come up after people learn about Social Security spousal benefits. One of the most common questions is whether both spouses can receive Social Security retirement benefits. The answer is yes. If both spouses have earned enough Social Security credits through their own work history, each may qualify for retirement benefits based on their own earnings record. If one spouse is also eligible for a higher benefit based on the other spouse's work record, Social Security will determine the benefit they're entitled to receive under the current rules. Another question is whether a spousal benefit begins automatically. In most cases, it does not. If you believe you qualify for a spousal benefit, you'll generally need to apply for it. That's why understanding your options before making a claiming decision is so important. People also ask whether their benefit can change over time. The answer depends on your individual circumstances. Changes in your work record, your marital status, or other factors may affect your eligibility or the benefits you're entitled to receive. Whenever your circumstances change, it's a good idea to review your situation with the Social Security Administration. Before filing any claim, take a few minutes to review your My Social Security account. Confirm that your earnings history is accurate, review your estimated retirement benefits, and make sure your personal information is current. A few minutes spent reviewing your record today may help prevent problems later. As we reach the end of this briefing, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. Social Security spousal benefits often seem confusing because there are several rules working together. But once those rules are explained in plain English, the overall picture becomes much easier to understand. Today we've explored what a spousal benefit is, who may qualify, how Social Security generally determines the benefit, and the factors to consider before deciding when to claim. We've also discussed some of the most common misunderstandings that can lead to unnecessary confusion. If there's one message we'd like you to remember, it's this. Understanding how Social Security works allows you to ask better questions, recognize your options, and make more informed retirement decisions. That's far more valuable than simply memorizing a few rules. At the same time, every retirement situation is unique. Your work history, your spouse's earnings record, your age when claiming, and other personal circumstances all contribute to your individual benefit. The Social Security Administration is responsible for determining your eligibility and calculating your benefit under current law. Our goal has never been to replace the Social Security Administration. Instead, it's to help you better understand the system so you can approach your retirement decisions with greater confidence. Thank you for spending your time with us today. If you found this briefing helpful, we invite you to subscribe and explore the rest of the Retirement Briefing Library, where we explain retirement topics in clear, practical, plain English. Until next time, thank you for watching, and we wish you a healthy, confident, and well-informed retirement.